Well, hello racing fans, and a warm welcome to an interview package that we are going to be doing with none other than Candice Bass Robinson on her runners on World Sports Betting Cape Town Met Day. And we welcome Candice onto the show. Thank her for giving up a valuable time leading up to the main event, which will be on Saturday. This show recorded 24 hours earlier. And Candice, firstly, I must just compliment yourself and your big entire team on what has just been a wonderful first 6 months of the season. You've got some great horses. You've been blessed with some great support and some good horses. So well done to the Candice Bass Robinson team.
Thank you, Deez. Yeah, it's been a wonderful season for me. I've had some really memorable times and obviously some very, very good horses. So I've been very fortunate to have that.
Well, let's get straight into it then. We are going to touch on all your runners, and your day will begin in race number 5, where you got two very smart fillies in number 2, Distant Winter, and number 5, Winter Cloud. Whether you use the betting as a guide or not, Candice, I will tell you that this horse, Winter Cloud, has been smashed in the betting from 7-2 into 15-10. And, firstly, is she possibly the right horse of your two in the yard for this race?
I think so, V. There's not a lot between the two of them. In fact, there's not a lot for. Winter Cloud obviously had a run in the Olympic Jewel Stakes. Not the previous run on plate there, where she put up a good effort there. She just needed a run a little bit, so I think she's come on nicely from that run. So probably out of my two, I would think that she would be the better of the two fillies. But the other filly is doing very well at the moment. Up a very nice gallop at Kenilworth, and I wouldn't discount her either. But I think on the day, those are probably my two best runners. I think in that sort of field, they're nicely weighted, and I think they both have pretty good chance.
Yeah, when you assess the opposition, etc., are you surprised that if the betting is to be used as a guide, that Winter Cloud has distanced herself from the balance of the field now?
Well, looking on paper, I think she's certainly the filly with the best form. And obviously seeing her come pretty much back to where she could be last time. She is quite short in the betting. But yeah, I suppose if you look beyond that, then it becomes pretty open.
Okay, some positive talk from Candice for both her runners there. Possibly my best two runners on the day, she says, in race number 5. Then we go on to race number 6, Candice, which is the Cape Flying Championship over 1,000 meters. And you got two runners here, number 1, Captain Arrow, and number 2, Mr. Cobbs. This horse, Mr. Cobbs, he's just been an absolute soldier for your stable. Wow, just looking at his record, he's close to being an equine millionaire. In fact, he's just 2,000 rand short of that, and he's already won 7. He's very useful.
Yeah, no, he has. That's a good word for him, a soldier of a horse. And, he's not young anymore. He's getting on. This will probably be his last season now. He's only really a summer horse. He doesn't really act in the winter and the soft going. And, this is his favourite course and distance. And he wasn't too far off them last time. I think he was 2 lengths off Thunderstruck last time. Also, again, you look past those two horses, you see Vunga Vunga and Thunderstruck and possibly Sergey, it becomes open again. I don't think there are huge amounts of sprinters around. And, I know over this course and distance, he'll always give a good account of himself. He just went down a nose to winning this race the year before last. So, he's not a lovely candidate, and certainly one that could perhaps finish in the money if he brings his best on the day. And I have got him pretty well at the moment. So I'm expecting a decent run from him. And the other horse might be throwing him a little bit in the deep end. It's quite a step up for him, but that last run you can put line through over a mile. He's definitely a sprinter. He'll be a much better horse up the straight. And his previous run to that, he was a little unlucky perhaps not to get up. He just got going a little bit late. So yeah, he's doing well at home, and whether or not he's good enough at this stage to take on some of these older sprinters, I'm not so sure, but he'll run well regardless.
If we're sitting on the same table on the day and we're doing a pick 6, will you suggest including Mr. Cobbs in our perm?
If I'm being a bit biased, then I'd say yes, if you're looking for a little bit of a result.
Well, if you are looking for a result, then include Mr. Cobbs. I think that could be good value there. You'll certainly drop a lot of tickets. Race number 7, Candice. Now, this race is one of the premier 1,600-meter races on the South African racing calendar when it comes to the fillies. And you've got 2 super 3-year-olds here in number 4, Red Palace, and number 11, Beach Bomb. But you also backed up by the older number 7, Golden Hostess. Just comments on 3 of them?
Yeah, strong hand of fillies to have. D's, Red Palace, I think, got a good draw this time. She hasn't had the best of luck her last 2 starts. Race didn't suit her last time, where things didn't work out, and I thought maybe in the Cold Skinnies perhaps a touch unlucky. So she's doing really well at the moment, and hope if things go, right for her in the race, and she gets a position where she can use herself nicely, she's a definite runner. Obviously, Princess Keller was a tough filly to beat at any stage. Beach Bomb, I mean, what can I say about her? She's, every time you put her whatever distance, she never gets a draw, hasn't got a draw again. You put her in and she just rises to the occasion every time. So, she's one of those ultra consistent fillies who's very good. So, she obviously drawn wide again, but, you certainly can't leave her out. And then Golden Hostess, also, I've got her back to her best again now. She, on her best day is, maybe just slightly off the fillies, but, nonetheless, she's a good filly in herself. And Miles, sometimes just a touch on the far side for her, but I think she'll give a good account of herself.
It's a tough question to try and separate numbers 4 and 11 against a horse like Princess Keller. But, I mean, if you had to choose one of them for, a placed accumulator, which one would you pick from the 2? The 2 fillies?
It's a tough call. I mean, there's not much between them, but maybe I'll go with Beach Bomb's obviously going to be the obvious one. You're not going to get a lot of value out there with her and Princess Keller, so obviously you're looking for maybe something extra, then I would go with Red Palace.
Well, numbers 4 and 11, a strong hand for Candice Bass-Robinson here. And she mentioned Beach Bomb just continues to impress. She's going for 3 on the bounce, and let's not forget there have been Group 1 wins as well. But Red Palace not out of it there in race number 7. Then the 7.5 million rand race, Candice, is the Cape Racing Gold Rush. And you've got a horse called Winter Rainfall here. Firstly, what do you make of the field?
Very tough race to assess. These obviously a lot of horses that going for the that are not like certain to get the distance, and I think that speaks for a good couple of us. Sean's horse has got very good form coming out of the Guineas, so I mean he's always going to be a tough horse to beat. And obviously, there's Bavarian Beauty, who's a Group 1 winner. So looking past those 2, it also becomes a very open race, and I think a lot of horses that are still finding their distance and improving as they go along. My filly, she's obviously got good sprint form. Was going to be a question mark as to whether or not she gets the mile. I can't tell you for sure or not. I don't know. I've always rated her very highly. Not drawn that well, which is going to make it a little bit tricky for me. And I think most of the time that race ends up being a pretty rough race, I think, because of the purse. So everybody wants to try and get a position. But she's got a lot of ability, and she switches off and she settles nicely, and she's got a great turn of foot. So we got a ticket, and we're certainly not without a chance, but it's a tough race to assess.
Yeah, you spoke about the distance, which is a slight concern, but from draw 11, would there be some type of plan going over this distance for the first time, or you'll just leave it to Aldo?
Make a plan. I think I'll leave it to Aldo. He knows her best, and he knows what to do. I mean, I don't need to get involved in that side of things. As I say, there's that race you can try and assess what's going to happen, but I think it's going to pan out in many different ways when those gates open.
Yeah, it's going to be BMT, one would say, and that's going to win the race. But 11, Winter Rainfall, some positive talk there from Candice Bass-Robinson if she does get the distance. Then on to the main event, which is the Cape Town World Sports Betting Met over 2,000 meters. I think before we even touch on your runner, Sugar Mountain, everyone's made a decision now, everyone that was involved in Charles Dickens and on a future at stud. But I must first thank you on behalf of all racing fans around the country and throughout the world that has followed his career. What a way to end it off, winning that King's Plate in the manner that he did. An absolute star.
Yeah, MD's, as I said, best horse I ever trained. and perhaps ever will train. But he was just the most brilliant horse, really. I mean, he had that turn of foot, and I think that last win of his in the King's Plate, probably his best win, I think, to date. Jeepers, he really smashed that field, and I think he's going to make a brilliant stallion, and hopefully one day we get to train one of his progeny, and hopefully I certainly think he will pass down, the brilliant traits that he had onto his progeny. So I look to that, and it's been probably a horse like that. I've enjoyed every minute of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, she's enjoyed every minute of it, and so have we. An illustrious career, and what a way to bow out the manner in which he won that King's Plate. Now, with the scratching of, or the withdrawal of Charles Dickens, we see it again shortened dramatically in the betting at 4-10. So, you've got Sugar Mountain in the race. I must compliment the horse firstly, Candice, because, as a 7-time winner, on many occasions, he's continued to surprise me, just the way he wins his races. And to be a 7-time winner from 21 starts, takes some doing.
Yeah, he's been a fabulous horse. He's one of the most honest horses that I've trained. And, he's so versatile. He pretty much goes any trip from 14, to he's now been going. It's the first time we've put him over a bit of ground now, these last 3 starts that he's had. Little unlucky not to win the Peninsula Handicap. It was a bit, tight to get a run there. And, I mean, last time also the pace was very slow, so it didn't really suit him the way he had to race. And, I mean, he only went down, 0.4 of a length or something like that out of, from winning. So he's an extremely honest horse. Is he good enough to beat it again over 2,000 meters? I don't think so. But, this is racing, I suppose, and we all, in it for the dream, and we all, hopeful that perhaps we can. And he's very well at the moment. And I think if you take See It Again out of the equation, it becomes an extremely open race. They're all pretty much on a par and pretty much have run against one another and finished within, half a length. So good luck on finding the rest behind them. But, obviously we're hopeful. And I think, the 2,000 meters, little question mark as to whether he gets that, at that level of racing. But we'll have to see on Saturday. But, I'll be over the moon if he ran a place.
Well, you wouldn't be racing him if you didn't think 2,000 meters was within his compass. What's your opinion on him being stretched an extra furlong?
I don't know. I mean, he certainly won't run a bad race. Obviously, we'll just have to ride him accordingly. I mean, he certainly got the 1,800, 2,000 meters, 200 meters further. We'll just have to bear that in mind a little bit. As I say, I've never put him over that sort of trip, so I'm not 100%. It's a little bit of a question mark for me.
And then on to race number 11, Candice, and this is a maiden plate over 1,200 meters. And whatever the result in this race, I'd just like to say that there will be winners in waiting because it's a hot field. A very open race, this, Candice. Lots of form to work around. But you got Iguguletu.
I think it's one of the hottest maiden fields I've seen in a while. Yes, and these on any normal maiden race, I would have said my horse would have had a good winning chance. But that's a very tough field, and there's some hot form in that race, and I suppose everybody's keeping their best maidens for Met Day. My horses will have an each way chance there, but difficult to say that I think he's got a good winning chance. I think Justin's horse, it's only had the one run, but it was running on strongly on debut, and I know they think a lot of him. So, and Andre Nell's got 2 decent sorts in there. It's a tough race, but my little horse is fitting well, and he certainly will be right there, regardless of where that may be.
Well, in closing, I know Mark does a wonderful job, sending out comments for your runners on the day, but you are on the line now. If we had to, pick your brain for all your followers out there, for just one horse from your stable that you think could be your best, which one would it be?
Possibly Winter Cloud.
Winter Cloud, your best on the day. I'm telling you now that I'm looking at a picture of you that they got up here, and it's a wonderful picture of you.
Hopefully it's not a bad one.
It's a wonderful one. You're all dressed up in a beautiful dress with your sunglasses on. The reason I say this is, have you sorted out your outfits and everything? It's too late now to go shopping.
No, I'm always a lastminute.com person, but I have got a dress that I'm wearing. I'm usually running around at the last minute. I have got a dress. I don't know whether it's quite in fitting with the theme, but I think it's a nice dress, and yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a broad theme, isn't it? Cape Splendor.
It is. Yeah, I think it is, and I think there's going to be a lot of colour and a lot of florals and a lot of things like that. I would imagine that's what you will be seeing on the day. I'm in black and white, so I'm really against the theme, going against the theme. I don't know why, but that's just what the dress that I found that I like, and just have to make it work in a different way for Cape Splendor, I suppose.
Well, you've given it away, the color that you're using. So if people want to match up with Candice Bass Robinson on the day, you know what color coordination. You know what color she'll be using. Candice, as always, thanks for your time, and to yourself and your entire team, all the best for tomorrow. Another big day for Cape Racing.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks to Candice Bass Robinson, and to you, the valued racing fan. That is it. Candice Bass Robinson comments on all her runners on the day, and all you need to do now is work things out. And until we meet again, you take care. Salani Karsle.